Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'll introduce you the phenomenology of challenging psychedelic experience. What are psychedelics? First, we'll start with history. First, they have been used with the indigenous people in Mesoamerica, which is today's Mexico. They have been used for religious rituals, shamanic practices, and healing ceremonies. Those are the classic psychedelics. LSD, discovered by Albert Hofmann in 1943. Psilocybin, the psychoactive compound of magic mushrooms. Peyote, which is a cactus in today's Mexico, and other South American states. That includes mescaline. Lastly, ayahuasca. It is a beverage, secret beverage that includes leaves of chacruna, and chacruna includes the psychoactive compound DMT, and the wine of death, ayahuasca, and it has been used by the Shipibo and Ashaninka tribes in Amazon forest for up to 5,000 years. The second class of psychedelics are dissociative psychedelics, ketamine and PCP. They can be eye-opening. They can serve as a catalyst for personal growth and better understanding your life, trauma, and hard life situations. On the other side, they can be very harmful and they can cause some mental health, they can trigger mental health condition. This is the definition of challenging psychedelic experiences, that they are characterized by fear of death, ego dissolution, or overwhelming emotional state. For further understanding, it's mandatory to distinguish between challenging psychedelic experience and bad trip. Challenging psychedelic experience referred to difficult, unsettling, or distressing encounter during psychedelic trip. That can include fear, anxiety, confusion, and even feeling that you are losing your own mind. However, those experiences can be transformative. They can give you a different perspective on life traumas. However, it is important to further work with page, curandero, sitter, somebody who is experienced and know what he is doing to really embody this experience into your life. Bad trip is something negative. It's challenging, frightening, overwhelming experience that can lead to confusion, panic, and long-lasting psychological difficulties, such as psychosis and paranoia. Psychosis and paranoia are dangerous. It is important to introduce those two factors, set and setting. Set refers to anything internal. Are you happy? Are you depressed? Are you sad? Are you fearful? With a positive mindset, it's more likely to report beneficial effects and fewer negative reactions. On the other side, negative psychological states can lead to challenging experiences such as confusion, fear. Setting refers to anything external. Am I friend with the participant during the ayahuasca ceremony? Do I trust my page, curandero, therapist, sitter? Are there enough people to support me that I can feel comfortable that whatever can arise, that they will help me? Supportive group settings often report more profound and meaningful experiences compared to chaotic environments. Therefore, it's important to have safe, comfortable, and relaxed environment. However, if you are in unsafe and stressful environment, what are other factors that can lead to challenging psychedelic experience? If, generally speaking, your mental health is not good, you have depression and other mental health difficulties, taking them with people that you don't trust, they might be your enemies or strangers, taking them in overstimulating environment, can be a nightclub or public place, or simply taking too much. I read about a participant who took 3.6 grams of psilocybin and he experienced challenging psychedelic experience. Once he had the challenging psychedelic experience, it's important to understand how we can measure it. First, we can use the Challenging Experience Questionnaire, CEQ, which includes negative emotional and cognitive responses that can arise during psychedelic use. Secondly, the dread of ego dissolution, DED, that includes cognitive impairment, loss of self-control, feelings of disintegration or separation from oneself and the world. Generally speaking, the higher the DED, the higher the chance of unpleasant psychedelic state. However, Barrett et al. Found this scale imperfect, and he suggested a questionnaire based on his psilocybin study, which includes those 7 factors that you can see on the screen. Those 7 factors are negative. You might be asking, what are other negative experiences that can arise during challenging psychedelic experience? Unfortunately, it can trigger psychosis reactions that leads to anti-therapeutic consequences. In this particular study, they found that anxiety, paranoia, and depression lasted a week or longer after the psychedelic session. And lastly, Dos Santos made a review of case reports describing psychotic episodes associated with DMT ayahuasca ingestion. And he found 5 case-based reports describing psychotic episodes. Most participants, but not all, had a family history of psychosis or mania. Psychosis and mania are negative. On the other hand, what are the benefits? Carboneros et al. Made a survey and he found out that most of the participants, 87%, experience positive, challenging, challenging psychedelic experience, even though it was one of the most difficult experiences of their life. Magic et al. Suggested that the benefits of adverse psychedelic experiences have therapeutic effects. Lastly, Lucas recommends that it is key, he stressed the importance of that the user has to be willing and able to integrate their hard experience, psychedelic experience, into their life. Otherwise, the trip is meaningless and doesn't have sense. It's just a trip. But this requires further work with Page, Ayahuasquero, Curandero, therapist in our setting. When the user integrates the challenging psychedelic experience, it has potential to treat depression, PTSD, anxiety, addiction, and OCD. Right now, there are people suffering all over the world from those conditions. Those are serious conditions. What are the red flags, meanings, predictors of the experience? Barmer and colleagues found that a young age or psychotic history is a big red flag. Another predictor is your current mental state. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling depressed? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling paranoid? Is it good time to take psychedelic right now? Or is it better to wait a couple days until I settle down? Surprisingly, in this particular study, they found that if you are female, unmarried, or having pre-existed anxiety condition, that it can predict negative mental health outcome after ayahuasca ceremony. And lastly, having no knowledge of the dose, being in unguided setting, and having diagnosis prior mental illness is another big red flag. What other predictors of challenging psychedelic experience do we know about? Not much. Let's call for the future research. So firstly, it should identify predictive factors for challenging experiences. Secondly, the research should focus on the transformative potential of challenging experiences. Thirdly, what are the mechanisms of psychological distress during challenging experiences? And lastly, the role of therapeutic support during challenging experiences. Thank you for your attention.